I'm not sure if I would press charges in this situation, Pat.
Yeah, I don't know if I would either, Jason. I will say there's nothing more demeaning to someone than to spit on them, however. I think it's disgusting, and I think there's no place for it whatsoever, and I think ATN should be suspended. When he gets healthy again, maybe he has to sit out a couple of games. Maybe that's the route.
Yeah, but he doesn't need a criminal record.
No, and I agree. It's a misdemeanor. I don't think that'll stick with them forever. I will say this. I know that Dave Hickey and Dr. Robbins have both talked to the Zona Zoo people, and they said, let's stop with the F-bombs. Let's keep it clean. We can get on these players. We can taunt them in different ways without all in unison chanting the F-bombs. And I'll say, going back to North Carolina Duke last night, if Dean Smith were there, I'm pretty sure Dean Smith might have grabbed the microphone and said, all right, knock it off. Let's.
Didn't we see Sam Weiss do that?
Well,
back in the
we also saw Bobby Knight do it, but remember Bobby Knight was, because they were throwing stuff in the court, and he said, I don't care how terrible the officiating is, just don't throw stuff on the court, and then he got teed up. But you know what I'm saying? I think you got to show a little bit more class. You can despise Mike Krzyzewski as a head coach at Duke when you're a North Carolina fan, but you got to give him some respect. And chanting the F word, that to me is it's just too low. You just don't go down to that level.
All right, so that segues into our next topic, which is Arizona women's basketball, and certainly they're doing well. And right here we see the video of Kelly Graves and Adia Barnes. Here's what I think, Pat, after thinking about it for a couple days. I think Adia Barnes did Kelly Graves a big favor. This is a male calling a female the B word, okay? There's multiple reports that that's what he said during the last game. And she made a big deal of this. Kelly Graves' name could have been dragged through the mud. And you're trying to recruit young ladies to a program. Who wants to play for a guy who's calling a woman a B word in front of other people in the year 2022? Adia Barnes de-escalated the situation at every single opportunity, and then they even had an embrace before the game. Deep down, Adia could say, yeah, I respect Kelly Graves. But do you really like somebody who just called you the B word and other names a couple weeks ago? I don't think so. Adia Barnes, I think, a classy gesture. And also, look, she wasn't perfect in this situation. Apparently, she threw out the middle finger and everything. But give her her due if you think she should get it this way for that, because she de-escalated the situation.
And as you explained that, Jason, it struck me. This is what just struck me. She took the high road. And you know why she took the high road? First of all, she did use the middle finger, so she can now, kind of say, okay, that's over. We're burying the hatchet. It's fine. But Jason, the recruiting wars don't happen on TV. The recruiting wars don't happen in front of cameras. The recruiting wars happen in the living rooms of these young women and in the men's.
Install and go.
Three, two, one, let go.
Wait.
There we go.
It has been challenging for parents and families, for educators and administrators, for school board leaders, and most of all, for our students. As I spent time with my newborn daughter, Clara, at home this past winter, I had time to think about our public schools and staff and teachers who have gone through incredible lengths to keep our schools running as we enter this third year of the pandemic. I also thought about where my daughter would one day go to school and what the future of public education looks like in our state. I had originally planned to give a different speech today, but because of legislative inaction, our districts are facing a school closure ticking time bomb, and it is too important to focus on anything else today but the dire budget cuts facing our district schools. We all agree that we must do everything possible to keep our schools open, but the biggest threat of widespread school closures comes not from the virus, but a school finance relic from 1980, the aggregate expenditure limit. In 22 days, public school districts in every county will face enormous and devastating budget cuts if you fail to defuse the ticking time bomb that will force them to close. Without the immediate passage of Senator Marsh's SCR 1022 or Representative Pollock's HCR 2012, district schools will be forced to cut 16% from their budgets, legally unable to spend over $1 billion that you have already allocated to them. Unfortunately, neither of these bills have been assigned to a committee or have received a hearing. For educators and school staff across the state, a 16%